Hello, everyone. It's Simon Woods, and as you know, I've been thinking, and that can be dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, we've had a lot of dangerous weather here recently, and we're talking everything that could go wrong, did go wrong, and either Mother Nature is giving us a show or she's on a rampage, and somebody's got to get her some chocolate before she goes Godzilla. Speaking of the bad weather, we've had a lot of flooding recently in some areas of my town, and we're talking rescue crews had to go out there on boats in the street to pull people from their houses, including a 90 some odd year old woman who was wheelchair bound. That is intense and insane. While outside in the yard today, I overheard a conversation about the recent weather, and I decided to share it with you. My neighbor was talking to a friend of hers, and she said, and I quote, God has decided to wipe this city off the map. He's starting with the poor areas because their sins and debauchery should be made an example. Wow. Really? Ma'am, I don't know if you're aware, but there are children who live down there that had no desire to be born into the circumstances that they're in, that are kind of stuck there. There are students down there who can't afford to live in the dorms, so they share houses. There are elderly who barely get any social security money, and they have no other choice but to live in a poor income area. And while I agree that crime rates are higher in those areas and that you've got problems such as burglary, rape, prostitution, drug dealing, on, a lot of the people who are perpetrating these events are people that don't see a way out of the ghetto or out of the situation that they're in. So they turn to those acts because they don't see another choice. And whether or not they choose to take any other option is their choice alone. Now, mind you, I dropped everything to overhear this conversation, and she was speaking loud enough that the entire neighborhood could hear her. What she said next, I wish I could have jumped the fence. She said those black ghetto motherfuckers are a symbol of why this town should be destroyed like Nineveh or Sodom and Gomorrah. And wow. Really? So you went from God should smite all the bad guys while getting the innocent caught in the crosshairs to those ghetto black motherfuckers. Wow, that's incredibly racist. And my question comes as this. Why is it okay to think that getting innocent people caught in the crossfire to take out the bad guys is a good thing? It's not. And it drives me insane to think that she was so ignorant to say this. Of course, her friend just kind of chimed in with a ha 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 ha. You're right. Wait, what? Are you kidding me? That is not okay. Because that area of town, yeah, while it is rife with crime, there's a lot of people there that just can't get out. So they have no other choice but to stay there. And while you think it was God's will, the only reason why it flooded is because it's on a lower floodplain. And that the city sewer system could not handle the amount of rain coming in, so it washed up. Seems to make sense to me. No need for God in that statement, but apparently God has a whole beef with this group of people that happen to live in this area of town. I almost couldn't stand to listen to the last part of the conversation, but it went along the lines of this. So, with the weather getting worse, I could see that all the sinners are going to perish. and that we righteous few will stand the high ground. I can't believe that. That's insane. And how can you consider yourself righteous when you're sitting there and judging people and disobeying the number one rule of your teachings, which is judge not lest ye be judged? And I judged you to be an ignorant moron, lady. I don't get it. But if you have any idea why she would say such things, let me know in the comments or send me an email. I'm Simon Woods, and as always, the door to discussion is open.